Yes, hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on Cluiche. Me, Séamus Brady and Luke Peyton. We are going to run through all of the action which took place across the club championships over another really dramatic weekend. We had the All-Ireland Club Camogie Final, we had the All-Ireland Club Football Final on the ladies' side, and we had two All-Ireland Senior Hurling Semi Finals on the men's side. St. Thomas's Ballygunner and O'Loughlin Gales Cushendall. And the roaring hot favourites for the All-Ireland Ballygunner knocked out by St. Thomas's on penalties. So we're going to run through the finals, we're going to run through the semi-finals and the general news of the week. But Luke, what a weekend.
Yeah, brilliant. And I think, well, obviously two All-Ireland finals on as well. And then looking the men's side, can't really think of a better weekend of club action in the hurling than that. I think look that there was two good games as you're going to see, particularly like the Thomas's Ballygunner game got all the attention really seemingly from it, but then I think that Cushendall Loughlin Gales game was just equally as good, and the next day too. So yeah, between that, some kind of lot of drama as well on in the two All-Ireland finals on the ladies side, and then look just some unbelievable hurling as well then too. So yeah, just a really good weekend.
That's it, and we'll dive into it. Deep breakdowns on all the games. We're going to start with the finals because silverware on the line. You cannot argue with the importance of those games. And we're going to start with the history-making one. And I know KILKERRIN Clonberne is history-making with their 3 in a row. But we're going to start with a maiden All-Ireland title. DICKSBORO won their first ever All-Ireland Camogie title of the weekend. They beat the reigning champion Sarsfields, who were looking for 3 in a row, by 18 points to a goal and 11. A really shrewd, solid performance by DICKSBORO throughout this game. And I mean, you can't lie when you say like they've done it the hard way, beating St. Vincent's, Lochgiel Shamrocks, and then taking out, the champions in Sarsfield, back-to-back champions. They've certainly earned this title.
Oh, look, they absolutely have, and that's the thing is, like, sure, all the talk was coming into it as well, from the football side, which we're going to get into in a second as well. It was the 3 in a row talk and everything as well. A lot of people probably had Sarah's name in the trophy before the game even started as well there too. So, yeah, no, look, they absolutely had to earn it. Like you mentioned the previous games, like, sure, we all seen what Lochgiel Shamrocks did up in Ulster as well. There was that kind of test coming into that. You saw that Lochgiel were so dominant in the province up there that how would DICKSBORO get on against them? They got through that challenge as well. And then look, they did it on the day here again too. And you know what? And look, they're full value for it as well. They absolutely earned the win, and were by far the better side on the day. And look, I think probably the grabbing most of the attention is Aoife Prendergast's performance, which player of the match anyway, with like 9.7 from frees. Like, it's just, I think her accuracy was just was perfect. Really didn't have a miss all day. So yeah, look, I think she was a big factor in them getting over the line.
No, she definitely was. When you look at the backs, you look at the Cliffords there in defence, like you look at it from the Sarsfield's point of view. The reality is Siobhan McGrath hit 1-4. You can't really stop her. But when you look at like the likes of Sarah Spellman, Orla McGrath, they were kept to 1 point each. Like crucial forwards, not just for Sarsfields, but for Galway over the years. That they kept them so quiet. Jane Cass, Katie Byrne, Amy Clifford, Asha McCarty, Lucinda Gahan, like all these players that have been really important throughout for DICKSBORO, throughout the championships. They came up clutch in the final again. So they weren't just solid going forward, but to hold Sarsfields to 111 with the forwards that they have was also really impressive.
Yeah, and look, absolutely. And like, I think when you touched on as well, Lucinda Gahan, that she, like, obviously coming back from winning the All-Irelands, like, she's won the All-Irelands before, captain Kilkenny before, so she only coming off the bench as well. I know, look, she was only just coming back into it as well. So, yeah, look, I think that was a big thing as well. I think a lot of people are kind of making, are talking about the fact that the bench impact, that her impact off the bench, whereas, look, Sarsfield's only made the one sub very late on the day. I think it was the 58th minute I saw was that I think that's when the sub was made. Like the depth kind of just wasn't really there for Sarsfields as well. Whereas DICKSBORO were getting meaningful contributions after bench as well. And like you said, look, just some seriously strong performances as well. Like you said, Jane Cass, Amy Clifford, like these players, and they did manage to shut down the key players as well. So like I think yeah, look, I think DICKSBORO, they're full value for their win anyway as well. And like you said, it's like they've absolutely had to earn it in a really hard way.
Well, that's it. And like Sarsfields have been absolutely incredible champions, but I think DICKSBORO were worthy winners of the championship this season. And look, it's an exciting time for Kilkenny Camogie. You've got, obviously, I know that, last year didn't go to plan, got knocked out at the All-Ireland quarter-final stage by Cork, went on to win it. But look, they were missing Miriam Walsh. They were missing players that were really, really important to their cause. And now they have the All-Ireland Camogie champions. You imagine that players like Ashley McCarty, for Prendergast, like they'll be absolutely buzzing to get back in with Kilkenny for next season and turbocharge another All-Ireland push. And I think this will help. But they are massively deserving All-Ireland Club Camogie champions for 2023. Now, moving over to the other final that was on the weekend. This wasn't history making in terms of a maiden title. This was normal service continued. KILKERRIN Clonberne are the best club side right now in terms of the LGFA. They've won another final by 18 points to a goal and 9 against Ballymacarbery. They played Ballymac in the semi-finals last year, absolutely demolished them. Ballymac came a bit stronger this time, but the reality is KILKERRIN were in control for most of this game, and really nobody can deny they are the best in the business right now. 3 in a row, worthy winners again.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I think, the scoreline does show that, it does reflect how Ballymacarbery did rally a bit in the end as well. But look, let's be real, KILKERRIN and Clonberne were completely in control throughout. And it was a late run of scores, a late bit of fight from Ballymacarbery that's kind of made the scoreline look very, very respectable, I suppose, for them. Obviously, look, it's still a 6-point win. It's still a strong mental win. But there was a bit of a late rally in there too. I think they just they do just look streets ahead. And it's just been a really, really strong couple of years from them as well. They have some serious players. You look at the forwards in particular as well. The forwards were just absolutely completely free scoring as well. Between the two noons that Ballymacarbery just had no real answer for them as well. And I suppose, look, it's another year where Ballymacarbery, they've the Waterford seems to be the given for them, but it's another year without quite making the jump to pushing towards an All-Ireland that we got this year. They're in an All-Ireland final, but they will be disappointed considering they come out of Waterford every single year that they haven't managed to get over the line in the big one yet.
Yeah, well, the reality is look, that was their first final since 1998. None of those players had ever played in one before, and they were coming up against a KILKERRIN Clonberne side that have been the dominant team. And the minute that they beat Kilmacud Crokes, I just didn't see a way that KILKERRIN wouldn't win this final. I saw whoever wins that semi-final between Kilmacud and KILKERRIN, for me, takes the final as well. Look, the reality is their forwards are ridiculous. You've got Chloe Miskell kicking 5 points from play, Lindsay Noon kicking 4 points from play in the All-Ireland final. Then you've got Olivia Dively kicking 2, 1 from a free. You've got then, of course, Eva Noon kicking 6 points, 1 of those from a free, so 5 points from play from her as well. That's ridiculously good forwards against a very, very strong Ballymacarbery defence. The reality is Ballymac went through years then from 98 up until the present day where they weren't turning Waterford titles into even Munster titles. And so they've taken steps forward in the past 2 seasons, but they will feel an itch and a need to go now and win an All-Ireland club title. But the reality is KILKERRIN are that good. They are just that they were tested in every single way that you could imagine that they would be tested. Kilmacud brought them to the brink. The Galway Championship was not easy for them this year. And look, Ballymac did put it up to them in the final. They were tested in every way that you could imagine. They proved that they're the best again. And if they're one of those club sides, I would compare them to Curfin. I'd say on the men's side, that I'd say we're now in a stage where they've won 3 in a row. And there's a similar story arc there that they, were heartbroken a couple of years in a row. But then when they broke through and they actually beat Donaghmoyne in the final, when they actually beat Mourneabbey, when they actually beat Mourneabbey in the final, they haven't looked back. They put 3 in a row now. And very similar to Curfin, it's this type of thing that you're looking at them thinking, God, who can beat this team?
Yeah, and look, and it's similar to many other great teams as well, is that they flourish when they get to Croke Park as well, and that they just seem to get better as the year goes on and on as well. That like you said, they found a little bit tougher in Galway this year as well in the early stages of the championship, but they've just got absolutely better and better. And that you're right in saying that Kilmacud game was always going to be an absolute kind of dogfight between them. That did seem to have All Ireland on the line really there as well. That look like you said, we know the history between Kilkerrin, Clonberne, and Ballymacarbery. They were always going to be heavy favourites coming in here as well. And look, they probably did know in their head that if they get over the line against Crokes in the Shane Walsh derby, that like they knew that they'd be fine. Like so, yeah. No, look, like you said, I think it's just having that caliber of forward. You listed for the four players up there in the forward line kicking all the scores. I think maybe they've one scorer outside as well. So look, they know where your scores come from. They know that they're inside forwards. Like it's gonna take some serious work to mark them. And look, Ballymacarbery just didn't have an answer for that as well. They know what's effective for them as well. They know they've got talent up front as well. They're good at the back too. So look, they're a serious side, and there's no indication to say that they won't be back here this time next year as well, going for the steps again.
Yeah, like I think we probably will see them back here next year anyway. Just before we move on, I'm gonna give a shout out to the other final winners. Clanmorris from Kerry, they beat Nafina from Meath in the intermediate Camogie Club final, 1-7 to 7 points. In the junior football club final, O'Donovan Rossa beat Claremorris by 2-7 to 11 points. And then, of course, Glanmire were fantastic in the intermediate club football final. They beat Ballinamore Sean O'Heslands by 5 goals and 8 points to 1 goal and 6. A 5-star display, no doubt about that. So congratulations to all the champions over the weekend. And yeah, we're going to move on now to the All-Ireland Hurling Semi Finals. And we're going to start with the result that definitely claimed all of the headlines over the weekend. This one, I have to say, I did not see coming. Ballygunner looked like they were roaring to the All-Ireland club title, and St. Thomas's have stopped them dead in their tracks in the All-Ireland semi-final. It finished 123 to 220 after extra time. St. Thomas's then won 4-2 on penalties. What a performance by St. Thomas's. And now it's them against O'Loughlin Gales in the final. Like, what a year this has been. Ballygunner gone, Ballyhale Shamrocks gone. Like, the dominating forces are out of the championship.
Yeah, and like you said, I think, didn't see it coming either, to be honest. And but I think the thing is, maybe I think we might have been all blinded a little bit by the Dunloy performance last year, and I think the bookies were very much in that side as well. Like they were rank outsiders. I think there was nearly 6-1 at one stage. I think I saw that Thomas's were that far outsiders as well. Nobody was giving them an absolute hope in here. And I think maybe it's the Dunloy performance kind of was stand against them. But when you reflect on it, like the amount of injuries in there as well, David Burke in particular back in midfield as well, but he managed to somehow, after the cruise ship and everything as well, that he's back in and played the full 80 minutes, which is just staggering really. And yeah, look, they really dragged it into a dogfight that they made. They knew that, look, if Ballygunner were out there playing the fancy style play, get the quick movement going, that look, Ballygunner are going to probably cook most teams in they're going to cook most teams in the country anyway. Well, probably they're going to cook every team in the country, but they just didn't allow that. Thomas's as well. Their big players really stood up. The county players really stood up. Like in particular, look, you've already mentioned David Burke. Conor Cooney hit essentially every free. I think the only one I can remember him hitting the post maybe with one. But other than that, hit 14 points, 13 of them from frees. He was absolutely immaculate with them too. And then the other big one, I thought Fintan Burke as well was really heroic in there as well. Essentially played with one leg. We'll see how he gets, if he's all right for the final now coming up. But he essentially on one leg, his performance was sensational, keeping Kevin Mahoney scoreless. And they just really made it uncomfortable for Ballygunner. Didn't give them an inch, hassled them all over the place as well. Their work rate was insane. And and look, when it goes to penalties, it's a stroke of luck. But I think based on the performance, they deserved that little bit of luck when it went to penalties.
Well, that's it. And if people are saying, "Oh, look, they beat them on penalties," the reality is they matched them score for score up until then. They were right there neck and neck with them. They proved that they are just as good as Ballygunner on the given day. And looking even through the scoreline, Ballygunner's big men did score well. Patrick Fitzgerald and Desi Hutchinson both hit 1-4 each. Porrick Mahoney hit 7 points, 6 from frees. Like Ballygunner's performance. Do you think Ballygunner performed below par? Do you think that they kind of bought into the hype? Maybe the bookies putting Thomas's as so far ranked outsiders. Like Ballygunner, when you look at it on the other side, they have only won one All-Ireland club title. And I'm not trying to all of a sudden have recency bias and say like, oh, Ballygunner, you know, now that they've lost, I'm trying to go in on them. I'm not. I'm just saying that, like, I'm trying to put myself in their shoes. They won one All-Ireland club title a couple of years ago against Ballyhale Shamrocks, and deservedly so. But then they got knocked out last year in the semi-final by Ballyhale. And then Ballyhale got knocked out this year. And all of a sudden, everybody just assumed that Ballygunner were going to go and win the whole thing. Like, especially after they handled the likes of the Piercy, Clonlara, Sarsfields, they obliterated them. Like, do you think that the hype actually affected them in a negative way?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was the hype, but like there's no sugarcoating it that's a miss. That's an All-Ireland they've left behind them. That I do think that Ballyhale, like, I think they'll look back on this one and say, this is an All-Ireland we should have won. I think there's definitely something to be said from that they've only won one All-Ireland. And I think a lot of the time previously people would say, okay, yeah, but they're in the Ballyhale era, that they're playing at the same time as arguably the greatest club team of all time. But like this year, there is no Ballyhale. This is the year where there was no other obvious candidate in there as well. I don't know if complacency came into it at all. Thomas has really, really put it up to them. That was the thing. Thomas has really, really put it up to them. They gave them a thing as well. Gave them like a proper scare. But like at the same time, I don't think Ballygunner played very well on the day. I don't think they played to their peak. And yeah, like you said, Desi and Patrick Fitzgerald played well. But outside of that, like a few key players really didn't fire. Like I think it's been a while since we've seen Kevin Mahoney not score. He was taken out of the game by Fintan Burke essentially. And the other thing, like you mentioned, Pádraig Mahoney scoring 7. He missed an awful lot of frees. He really, really cost them with the missed frees as well. And that, like, while Conor Cooney is slotting over every single free
13 frees
that he's been given, like when do you ever see a club level 13 frees going over as well? Like when that's happening, like sure, look, you can say that look, Pádraig Mahoney just has to be hitting them. Like if you take the frees out of it as well, Ballygunner, they were scoring far more from play. But look, that doesn't matter really as long as the scores are going over the bar anyway as well. So look, I do think the scores on the day probably were coming a bit easier to Ballygunner. They probably were a bit more fluid from play. But look, it doesn't matter really when Thomas has got the result anyway. And to be honest, look, barring the Billy O'Keefe wonder score at the end, Thomas would have won it in extra time too. So in normal time too, and save it going to penalties. So yeah, no, look, I don't know if you can say it was complacency or if they were already saw their name on the trophy. I don't know if you can go that far, but at the same time, like I do think that based on what we've seen from Ballygunner, their dominance, how good they've been earlier on the year, like there's no sugarcoating it that they have to be very, very disappointed that they're not adding All-Ireland number 2, because I think this was definitely a year that they should have been targeting.
Well, that's it. And like, because when you look through the team, like it's hard to imagine that they'll get as good a chance again in the next couple of years. Like you look through the team, Stephen O'Keefe, okay, he's in goal, maybe he'll have a little bit longer left, but like Barry Coughlin, Philip Mahoney, Shane O'Sullivan, like Pádraig Mahoney, they're all guys that I could see walking away in the next 2 years, 3 years. So it's something that like they must be sitting there thinking, if Ballyhale make it out of Kilkenny next year, which will be very difficult to do, but if they make it out of Kilkenny next year, immediately that's not as good a chance to win the All-Ireland. That's no disrespect to All-Ireland Gaels. There's no intended disrespect. But like when you look at how, for example, Ballyhale, once they got out of Kilkenny, absolutely murdered teams outside of Kilkenny. And All-Ireland Gaels have had very close contests with Nafina and Cushendall that we're going to get onto. But I think when you're looking at it from St. Thomas's angle, like they lost in the semi-final last year to Dunloy, and it was a terrible performance by Thomas's on the day. They were very much caught on the hop by a very, very game and ready Dunloy side who took them out. There's no question about it, they took them out. But St. Thomas's are 6 in a row Galway champions, and the year previous they took Ballyhale like to an absolutely gripping contest in the semi-final. So, like, their mindset, they must have been gearing up for this game for a while, letting all that outside noise get in and fuel them up for one hell of a performance. And I think you could say it's one of those things where when you reference the Conor Cooney freeze, he slotted over 13 of them. It's one of those days where they did get everything right.
Yeah, look, absolutely. And like I think people probably were harsh on it. It's only when you listen afterwards, like after the fact, when you look back on that Dunloy game last year as well, the amount of injuries they were carrying, players missing, players just not around. And if you compare the panel that they had yesterday, even something like as well, like the fact that they could afford to not start Evan Duggan and he came on, hit the point, scored the winning penalty as well. Like the panel was just so much stronger yesterday. And yeah, I think maybe people were saying, "Oh, look, that Thomas's team, they got ran around by Dunloy." Because I remember, you remember last year, Keelan Malloy, they couldn't get it, they couldn't chase Keelan Malloy down. They just looked slow, and they looked like they couldn't catch up as well. But like they're coming back as well. Like the other thing, Shane Cooney's back to full fitness now as well. Like it's worth thinking. Like he was the starter for Galway 2 years ago, had his injury troubles, and he looks back to his best there now as well. That spine of the team, like you've Fintan Burke, Shane Cooney, David Burke in midfield as well. That you've got you've Conor Cooney in half forward, and then you've Aidan Burke in the full forward line. It's a ridiculously strong spine to a team, and yeah, look, I think probably were in the dressing room looking at that, thinking nobody's giving us a hope here. And look, to be honest, nobody was giving them a hope. Nobody really was at all, and they knew that look, they've intercounty players all over the place as well. They've got some nice players to complement in there as well. A big fan of. I like Flannery in there as well in the corner. Victor Manso as well is a good tidy player in there too. That there's some really, really quality players in there as well. So they probably knew this performance was coming. Like there was a few clips doing the rounds of some of the work rate as well. Like Aidan Burke coming back from full forward at one stage, tackling his own full back line. That it was just savage work rate really. And yeah, look, I think in particular just seeing David Burke as well after his recovery too, his performance as well. He brought a bit of know-how, and like he's well able to play. Like he knows how to play the game and stuff as well. A bit of the dark arts, a bit of the kind of like putting hits in and everything like that as well. That he just adds so much experience in there in around the midfield. And like I just think, I think like it's great for them in the sense that they probably knew last year that Dunloy, that game didn't define who they were. So like there's no better response than that. And Jesus, they'll be absolutely licking their lips now going in like that. It sets up the final so well. Like it's a really hard one to call. We're gonna get onto Loughlin Gales in a bit, but like I tell you what, they'll be hoping Fintan Burke is fit, but like if they have a full deck anyway, Thomas's, like they won't be going in with any fear anyway. They'll be going in like with the expectation that they can get an All-Ireland. They've won their 6 in a row, but again they're in the Ballygunner, the Ballyhale era as well. How tough it is. This is their best chance to win an All-Ireland. They're looking at this now saying that look, this is the best chance we're ever going to get to win an All-Ireland there.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say that like St. Thomas's will sit there and think if they've won 6 Galway championships and they didn't go on to win an All-Ireland, they'll look back on that in future years and think, what the hell happened there? Why could we not get over the line against Ballyhale or Ballygunner? And look, they've got over the line against Ballygunner, so now it's time to go and make that count. But Loughlin Gales will also be thinking that, because the minute you take out Ballyhale Shamrocks, it will have wound them up. It will have wound them up that everybody is saying, oh, that's Ballyhale gone, so now Ballygunner will win. Or now Nafina have a great chance of winning Leinster because Ballyhale Shamrocks are gone. Like, they would be thinking, hang on here, we knocked out Ballyhale Shamrocks. Why is everybody throwing shade on us? Why is everybody immediately saying, oh, well, everyone else can win? And they're in the final. So they are aware. I think Ballyhale Shamrocks would have been if Ballyhale had beaten Loughlin Gales. So like, they're going to be going into this game with a serious chip on their shoulder as well to win that All-Ireland final, to shut everyone up. And I think St. Thomas's will be trying to do that as well. So it sets up an unbelievable final, because I know it's kind of weird in some sense to say that both sides have a lot to lose in the final. I know that it kind of is it, but like, let me give you an example when I'm trying to make sense out of what I just said. Dublin Mayo in the All-Ireland final in 2020. Like, it didn't feel like there was a hell of a lot on the line in that final between Dublin and Mayo, because Dublin had coasted to the final. Mayo had got there by beating Tipperary in the semi-final, and Mayo were kind of serious underdogs with a team of 7 debutants in that season who were making their first All-Ireland final appearance. Dublin didn't even have half their team. They didn't have Jack McCaffrey, or they weren't starting Paul Mannion or Brian Howard at the time. And it was very much like, this is just going to be another All-Ireland picked up easy for Dublin. And it was. And like, whereas with this final, it feels like for both these teams, and here's why I'm saying this, is we knew that Mayo team would be back for another final. And we knew that Dublin would probably be successful and probably be back in the final again soon. But it really feels like for St. Thomas's and All-Ireland Gaels in this final, that this is, as you said, their best chance. And you won't be sure when they'll be back here again.
Yeah, definitely. And like, because you go back to it as well, you go back to your own counties as well. Like, the fact is that, like, the All-Ireland Gaels know getting out of Kilkenny even is insane. Like, it's just insanely difficult. And that's not even just Ballyhale as well. Like, you look at the other teams around, you've got James Stephens, you've got Bennett's Bridge, you've got other teams like that. You've Thomastown coming through the ranks. We'll talk about them in a bit as well. Like, there's some serious sides in Kilkenny, and to even get out from Kilkenny as well, it's going to be an almighty challenge for them too. Thomas's as well. Look, we are in this era. We're in the Ballyhale era. Like, just if you can say that you've won a Club All-Ireland in the era with the greatest club team of all time, like, it's the best possible chance. I think you're right. I think it could lead to maybe a nervy enough start to a game where both teams will be thinking that they'll be thinking like, we've the amount of games we've won to get here, the challenges they've had to come through to get here as well. Like, there's been some absolute wars to get here, and like, it could lead to a thing where both sides don't really want to lose to start off the game, but it sets it up so well. It's going to be like, it's just so hard to call that final.
Yeah, no, it really is. Like, it's such a spectacle of a game, and I cannot wait to see it take place. So we've talked enough about St. Thomas's. Congratulations to them on a sensational victory, dumping out the raging hot All-Ireland favourites, Ballygunner, and they go into the semi-final where they will then go into the final, where they will face up against All-Ireland Gaels. And it was All-Ireland Gaels who did get to that final. All-Ireland Gaels seeing off Cushendall in a real battle of a game. This was 117 to All-Ireland Gaels, 116 to Cushendall. This game could have gone either way, but once again, All-Ireland Gaels found a way to win, and they are into the All-Ireland final where they will play against St. Thomas's.
Yeah, look, absolutely. And like, I think, well, all the headlines go to how good a game the Thomas's Ballygunner game is, but like, make no mistake, this game was so good. Like, this was a really good game. There was the amount of chances, like the amount of drama as well in particular. Like, I think in the first half I could count maybe 7 goal chances. It was a really good game. Cushendall they'll be disappointed too, in the sense that, like, with the way it's worked out as well, they won't have had a better chance of an All-Ireland. They were genuinely had a great chance. And that Neil McManus shot goes over, like, with the last puck of the game, essentially, then look, they bring that to extra time, and who knows what happens. But like, yeah, look, I think it was just All-Ireland Gaels. They just seem to have it that, like, they're coming out on the right side of these wins, like, as well. They got an almighty scare against Nafina in the Leinster final. They could have easily been caught there. Like, and they just come up to goods in the last few minutes, and then look, the exact same things after happening here as well, that in the key minutes that they've they stepped up at the right time. And like, just a special shout out to, like, in that back line, everybody immediately talks about Mikey Butler, Hugh Lawler, and Paddy Deegan, but like, this lad David Fogarty at 5 as well has been hitting points all year as well. And look, in extra time as well, he in the additional time at the end, he's the one who hit the winner, and look, he would have hit the one that sealed it as well, bar the goalie kind of saving at a certain point as well. So he hit 2 points. I thought he was just really good, and hits, like, constantly hitting scores there too. And I think on the day, some of their lesser kind of noticed players really did step up as well. That himself and Jordan Malloy and the other wing it's just a really solid half back line. It's a really solid defense. It's as good a club defense as I've seen going, really. And like, Cushendall really put it up to them as well. So it's some really classy forwards. But look, between that, Hugh Lawler fullback, they just really stood up. And look, and like, I think at the end of the day, they probably were value for for the slight win in the end, but like they just had that bit more of a know-how. And yeah, I think look, Cushendall will be good. They had missed a few goal chances, but then at the same time, look, O'Loughlin Gales could have had 3 or 4. There was some great last-ditch pull-downs by Cushendall in the first half to stop goals too. So yeah, look, I think on balance of play, maybe just about edged it, but like what a game that was. Like,
no, yeah, it was an awesome game. Like the contest between the two teams was absolutely insane, and like I nudged it slightly towards O'Loughlin Gales because I put it this way. I said, like, look, they're always defensively solid. Paddy Deegan, Hugh Lawler, Mikey Butler, and then of course the likes of David Fogarty. They are solid back there. And the reality is they keep a team score level relatively low, and then Mark Bergen really leads the charge the other way. This game, he scored 9 points again, 5 of them from frees. His frees are crucial because he just keeps them ticking along, keeps the scoreboard moving, and next thing you know, O'Loughlin Gales are into the lead coming into the final stretch, and that's as they have been in pretty much every game in the championship so far. This game again, he, as I said, 9 points from him. That was crucial. Sean Bolger hit 1-1. Like going into this final, you'd imagine Mark Bergen, he's probably going to get the Shane Cooney or Fintan Burke treatment.
Yeah, I think so. Look, I think that's my thing with O'Loughlin's is that look, everybody knows this is that they don't have the unbelievable forward. Like everybody does chip in, and like a particular shout out to Conor Heary as well, who I think has a great chance of starting for Kilkenny next year. I think he's really good player. Maybe could say he's not naturally a forward though, but he's been chipping in. He chipped in with 2 scores the weekend as well. It's just in the full forward line, I'm just not sure if the scores are there. Like they had played Luke Hogan in there, who had a really good game, really effective player, but he's not a scorer. He isn't a scorer. And like Owen Wall has that bit of speed about him, but he's not a heavy scorer again as well. Didn't really contribute to the scoreline at the weekend, even though he's very dangerous. But like, that's the thing. I think Thomas would be looking at it and saying, yeah, look, Mark Bergen's probably going to finish up in about 10 points. He's going to hit probably about 7 or 8 frees, and he'll add 1 or 2 from play as well. But look, they'll be looking around it and saying, look, if we just kind of if we nullify him as much as we can in the game, and we keep the scores down, like they're probably looking at thinking, yeah, we're going to get Conor Cooney. Conor Cooney's going to score. Aina Burke's going to score. Like Flannery and Mansour are going to score, and that they're probably thinking that way as well. That they think that maybe if we can kind of slow down the influence of Bergen, that yeah, we're coming up against the best defense that you're going to play in club hurling, but can we still get a few more scores than what they can get? And yeah, that's going to be that's going to be what decides on the day. Is that I think somebody from O'Loughlin Gales is going to have to step up outside of Mark Bergen and have a really great game and just take it by the scruff of the neck and put up a big tally. Otherwise, I think I might be leaning towards Thomas's by 1 or 2. If just based on that, like I know that the last day as well that we seen in Croke Park on the Nafina game, Paddy Deegan came up and hit 5 from play. I think they're going to need something like that again, where maybe they need David Fogarty to hit 3, they need Jordan Malloy to hit 2, or they need Conor Heary to have a 3-point game as well. That I think they just need something like that they need someone to have an exceptional performance, because like I'm just a little bit worried about where their scores are going to come from as well. They're going to keep the scoreline down. They seem to be conceding the same amount every single time. But I think Thomas's might have slightly better forwards than Cushendall did. So that's probably why I'd be maybe leaning toward a point or 2, but I wouldn't be confident at all with that prediction.
Yeah, no, like it's very finely balanced, because I would agree with you. I think Thomas's have the better forwards. I think they've more scoring threats, but then I also think that O'Loughlin Gales have the better defence.
Yeah,
I think they're going to mark players like Hugh Lawler will go on to, and whoever Hugh Lawler goes on to, if he goes on to Aina Burke.
And Aina Burke, and he'll probably take Aina Burke out of it, really. Yeah.
Paddy Deegan will probably go on Conor Cooney. And
yeah, good matchups. It's really good matchups for them.
Good matchups, and then you're talking Oisin Flannery, as you said, has operated well. Well, how well will he operate when Mikey Butler's on him? Like, and it's difficult to firmly say who's going to win, because then obviously look at the other end. Mark Bergen's going to get Fintan Burke on him, or then Shane Cooney will probably pick up Conor Heary, and it's things like that where you're kind of like, okay, the matchups are so good. So I don't think it will necessarily be a final that will shoot the lights out, but I think it will be an arm wrestle of a game. I
Yeah,
think both sides will be quite nervy, very, very cautious to make any mistakes. But I still think it will be a gripping contest. I don't think it will be a one-sided game in any way, shape, or form. But I think both sides would be so nervous about letting this opportunity pass them by that the opening 10 minutes, I think, will just be pandemonium. I think there'll be a lot of mistakes. It's just who can manage this better, who can manage the occasions better. And you're thinking about it like, does this play into it at all? Like Galway's last good day in Croke Park was the All-Ireland Semi Final against Clare in 2019, probably.
Yeah, no, look, there's
2018, like a good day in Croke Park. Like I know they beat Wexford in the Leinster Championship, but like they lost consistently in the Leinster finals to Kilkenny over the last few years. 3 Leinster finals in a row they've lost to them. Then you talk about, they lost to Limerick in the All-Ireland final. They lost to Limerick in the All-Ireland semi-final last year quite comfortably. Whereas Kilkenny, they won the Leinster titles. They won the All-Ireland semi-finals against Clare. I know they didn't beat Limerick, but nobody else did. Like, is it something that maybe that might help? Is that mad to say?
I don't think it's mad at all. I think you look at it like, well, you look at the key performance for All-Ireland Gaels. They've been there, they've done it, they're proven on the highest level as well. Like the 3 fellas at the back in particular as well, you know what you're getting with them as well. Like Mark Bergen's record is proven too. So there is definitely that sort of factor in it too. I do think there is All-Ireland winners in that Thomas's side though too as well. That like David Burke being back is huge, like is absolutely huge, and just his kind of
straight away they have the advantage in midfield.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's no doubt that I like Nolan in midfield for All-Ireland Gaels and Keane Loy's in there as well. But it's a lightweight enough midfield, I would say. I think that they are kind of light in there too. And I think you're looking at a situation where will be Finnerty there beside David Burke, and then you've Evan Duggan coming on after about 45 minutes. I think Thomas's for sure have the strength in there as well. Look, I think there will be an arm wrestle factor to it as well. I think Thomas's will be hunting in packs. I really think we're heading towards like a 16-15 or a 15-14 type final. I think that's what we're going towards here. A goal could be absolutely crucial. And I think that's where we're going. I think, look, there is definitely merit in saying that, look, recently a few of the Auckland Gales players have done it on the big day and they've got over the line. But I will say, look, the likes of Fintan Burke, Shane Cooney, David Burke, Conor Cooney, they all know how to win. They've all been there. They've won things before. And look, they won't be afraid of that either as well too. So look, it's just it sets it up really, really well. And I just can't wait to see that one as well, because I might right now I'm saying a 1 point win for Thomas's, but like tomorrow I could be saying a 1 point win for Auckland Gales. Like I've no confidence really in that prediction at all.
Yeah, I think when you look at it, that what's crazy to me when you look at it is Hugh Lawler, Mikey Butler, Paddy Deegan, all experienced campaigners with Kilkenny, no All-Ireland medal.
Yeah.
Which is mad when you think about it. Kilkenny haven't won the All-Ireland since 2015. We still haven't ingrained into our head that they are the best or that they are right up there as the best. But the reality is, it's been, since Kilkenny won it, it's been Tip, Galway, Limerick, Tip, Limerick. And the reality is they've come close, but they haven't got over the line. And you wonder, does that actually play into it? That, look, when Thomas's get here, when they're in the All-Ireland final, look, the time before, they did like 2 finals ago, they won. And like, does that play into just those tiny, tiny little edges? Because that is what it's going to come down to. That's the level that this is going to get to in terms of being close between these two sides. But anyway, it's genuinely impossible to call a winner. And just before we move on, like, we are going to do a full preview on that final, of course, closer to the actual final itself, because there's the unknowns. What if before then someone gets injured? What if before then, someone's ruled out or whatever? But the reality is that we just don't know these things. So we will do a full preview closer to then. So make sure you check that out then. The reality is as well, Kilkenny are also thriving at other codes. You were mentioning earlier about Thomastown. them winning their final, or sorry, winning their semi-final. You saw that game. They were just unbelievable in that game.
Yeah, so look, they were playing Satanto anyway, the Ulster champions from Donegal anyway, so in the intermediate. And yeah, look, I think that it nearly got to the stage when they kind of stopped adding the score on the scoreboard. It was that much like that. They're just this. I honestly think that this is the strongest team we've ever seen in intermediate, and that like this isn't just a one-off that they've won that game by about 40 something points. They destroyed Bray Emmets in the Leinster final. They've walked through every single game in Leinster. I think from the moment that they won the Kilkenny Intermediate Championship, that everybody was kind of saying like that this side are going to be pretty unbelievable. And yeah, look, they're just remarkable, really. And they're going to face Castle Lyons now from Cork in the final. And look, I do fear that, like in a wide open Croke Park pitch, that we could be heading towards a similar situation where they could win that by about 20 points, that they're just that good. Like you look at some of the players in the team, like John Donnelly, I think scored 3-2 at the weekend. Like his brother Stephen Donnelly has been called up to the Kilkenny panel for this coming year. I think he hit 1-5, and he's been hitting scores all year, that he's been the main man from play for them, that he's been really, really good, and he's definitely a name to watch out for now next year in the National League. I think he could get a decent bit of game time there too. Some other big names like Peter McDonald he's won the underage All-Irelands with him before. John Joe Farrell, obviously previous All-Star winner in the corner for Kilkenny. And then the centre half back Eddie Donnelly in there as well. Really, really good player that I expect to see with Kilkenny as well coming up. But just to say, like, it's looking like that there's a good chance that, look, obviously the senior final is hard to call, but like at junior level, sure, it could be three Kilkenny All-Ireland hurling winners. And yeah, just in a really good place as well. And obviously with DICKSBORO as well, that it would be a unbelievable achievement if the Camogie All-Ireland winner at senior, and then the three sides at senior, inters and junior were all from Kilkenny.
Yeah, no, it would be one hell of an achievement, and it's definitely within their grasp. Keep an eye out for it, and keep an eye out for our previews of those finals as well. Of course, the All-Ireland Hurling Final, and of course we have the All-Ireland Football Semi Finals as well to look for. The All-Ireland Football Semi Finals as well to look forward to. So make sure you check that out. More content coming here on the channel. A lot coming in January as well. Guys, thanks for tuning in to this weekend recap. Until the next one here on Clare, take care.